are
That's
you at? You're all tanned up.
oh, I've been on, dude. I started melanotan.
Oh, you look great. That
It's crazy because I don't ever tan, and so I started taking melanotan, and I'm doing like a really small dose because that really hit my gut, but just twice a week
yeah.
as a maintenance dose. And I know you really enjoyed it. I feel great, man. And it's interesting. It did have a little bit of an appetite suppressing effect. I've had a threshold of not being able to get my body fat percentage down like below 20, and it
Yeah.
actually crossed that threshold with just adding melanotan too. It was crazy, but I've been out in the sun. I feel way better being out in the heat. Remember, I was getting that heat intolerance,
Yeah, yep.
and it's crazy. Like I don't have that anymore, which is was bizarre to me. So
Wow.
yeah, so I need to like get in and like dig deep into that pathway and just out of my nerdy inquisitive mind just to understand it. What's the difference between one and two?
It's just a couple amino acids. There's just
Okay.
nothing. I mean, it works on the
No,
same pathway. The tanning still occurs. There's there's fewer side effects with melanotan 1. However, melanotan 2 may increase libido a little more than melanotan 1.
okay.
So you should probably get on melanotan 1 so you stop doing those public displays that you've been known to do.
I'm a fertility specialist, man. What can I say?
Okay, stick with 2.
Yeah, two's good. This might be one of the second best like peptides after as far as like
Yeah.
when we're looking at the general public, you go, okay, the GLPs, and then you can add the melanotan. It's super powerful. But Go ahead.
Yeah, you think about the amount of people, metabolic disease, you're far more likely to die of obesity than you are from starvation these days. And so it's like, yeah, we need more treatments for metabolic disorder. This could be a pathway, but the other thing that we have is more mycotoxin exposure than ever before. I mean, we live in really sick buildings. I was flying over Manhattan and I was like, I can't believe the volume of people living in these little buildings and just like the airflow is restricted just by the way that we've built those.
When you're talking about mold, I know, with Shoemaker, he has that entire biotoxin pathway. And one of the main outside of VIP and AVP, the MSH, the melanocortin stimulating hormone, that when that gets disrupted, people get less melatonin. They're going to get chronic pain because their natural
Yeah.
endorphins get suppressed. They'll get they get frequent urination at night because they're reduced antidiuretic hormone. So it's like,
Mm.
frequent urination, their androgens get disrupted. They're trying to think all those pathways, the cortisol and the ACTH levels get disrupted.
Semaglutide is, I didn't realize the difference in the pulsing strength, but it has a 5 times greater pulse than tirzepatide or than
Oh,
retatrutide.
hmm.
And the GLP-1 pathway seems to be the most important for those cravings. And so from an addiction perspective, for those of you who are working with patients who have alcoholic tendencies or they're trying to get off cigarettes or addicted to food, um, it's a phenomenal treatment. But semaglutide, we shifted one of our clients who he was doing good on tirzepatide, but still drinking too much on the weekends. He kind of ate and drank his way over the top of it. Then we put him on semaglutide, and it just like completely muted the sensation. So hopefully we can change the neural pathways there.
Oh,
You
and,
know?
and one of the connections is really cool. I was talking to the team about this the other day. The cells in the gut that make GLP-1 also make GLP-2, and GLP-2 is what heals the tight junctions in the gut.
No way.
So if someone has like this hyperpermeability in the gut, the likelihood is they also are going to have a GLP-1 issue.
That's a really good point. And if you think of most of my clients, like 95% of us have ADHD, and
Yeah.
it's wild because it calms the brain down. Like you get the inflammation, you start sealing up the tight gap junctions in the gut. They're like, I only poop once or twice a day now. Is that okay? And I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
because their brain's so active, they can't even digest and process food. And so now they're having good bowel movements. Their gut looks so much better. It's phenomenal. You do want to watch out for constipation, of course.
We've been discovering a lot of stuff. I had a lady recently had really severe chronic fatigue. I don't know if I talked about this, but she had really high uranium in her body. And
Wow.
just to make sure it wasn't a fluke, we used a second company to do a test, and they found, oh, we used the metabolomics through Genova, and so we found it again, and we're like, my God! And so she was doing really well. We were just taking her through our regular functional program, peptides. She was doing really good. We got to the liver phase, and she started to tank a little bit, and we couldn't figure out. And then she just kept getting worse. Like, what is going on? Like, there has to be something we're not seeing. So we did the total toxin panel, and it's looking at all kinds of stuff, mold and perchlorate and plastics and all kinds of stuff. And the metals came in. We even looked at um, uh, glyphosate, and those
Yep.
things were okay, but she had all this freaking uranium.
So with the uranium, one thing, because of the DNA unraveling that can happen, FOXO4 is a peptide
Mm.
we can get now. I'm doing cycles of it because that clears out senescent cells and really good for DNA silencing. And you can feel it. Like I'll do it on a day, like rapamycin. What we've learned with autophagy, the new science shows exercise is just way better than fasting,
Yeah.
and it's a hell of a lot funner.
Yeah. Way better. And that's the thing is like for a few years now, Peter Attia has been talking about how with his team of people that only do research, that hands down the best thing that you could do for your brain and longevity is even more powerful than sleep is exercise. So it's like just keeps coming up is get the movement. We're meant to move.
Yeah, this is called Sapphire, and so you guys can go to their website. I don't know the exact website, but it's like Sapphire X.com. I don't know. It's just just perplexity. What are we going to say instead of Google now? Because nobody like it's like just chat, just AI it. I mean, what's interesting about the way things are going is we did a big event in Rochester, and then we flew down to open our new facility in New Jersey. And one of the dudes that was at the event, he was on the plane, and he's like, "Hey, I asked Chat GPT about who you were, Reagan, and I was like, creeping on you, and I was like, oh, really? What? And what'd you find out? He's like, Chat GPT loves you. Like you've got all the cool people you've worked with, all the things you've done in your career. I was like, oh, good. So people are finally we're getting away from Google, which is inaccurate data, and we're going to Chat GPT, which it went from hallucination to it's pretty darn accurate these days. Kind of fun. But so whatever you need to do to find the website for this, but this is interesting because it shows the amount of cellular senescence. It shows the immune longevity score. It shows where you're at based on what your cells look like. It's a blood draw that you do. It's about $600, and you get an immune longevity score. We've got work to do here because he was older than what we wanted him to be, but it basically shows the exposome and subcellular changes, which lead to the cellular senescence and then the whole body impact. The grip strength is such a great predictor of muscle health. And it's a test that literally takes like 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, and people have a really damn fun time. So if you're not using that in your practice, I would buy one of the damn things. They're $10. So there's a
Yeah, they're
diagnostic
cheap.
tip. They're cheap. They go up to 200 pounds. And so if you have a real strong dude, then he'll break it. Um,
Oh. What does
so
yours typically go up to?
151 is my right hand, and then I'm about 128 on my left hand.
That's really impressive.
We use the NeuroCheck. This is one device, not necessarily diagnostically, but we have another test where we put on the electrodes, and it's a lot more dynamic, and um, and so yeah, so you can use this with other diagnostics, but it actually is. I like this test. Here, I'll show you why. So you can see stress index. I had been traveling internationally. I just spoke. I mean, it was, there's a lot going on. So my stress levels are a bit higher than what my nervous system likes. My autonomic nervous system, that vegetative response, shows the contraction and relaxation. So my nervous system is still calibrated. 0.45 is perfect. It's about where you want it. So even though I was a little heavy on the gas pedal, my power output, the total power relates to your heart's ability to maintain that heart rate variability. And so one of the, I'm 2644 at this test. I'm actually happy with this result based on the fact that I hadn't had much sleep, was on, let's see, 4 different time zones in the past week. And, but you can see the total power, 2644. And that shows the low frequency, the high frequency, and then the very low frequency. And what's interesting about those markers is it can be a really good predictor as far as like how healthy each level of the nervous system is. And do you have enough gas and brakes? So every system in the body is a feedback loop, and this just shows the feedback loop in your electrical circuitry. Well, this has been a fun Go Wellness. Thanks everybody for being on, and we will see you next month. July 11th is the date, and looking forward to seeing you all there.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
See you.